to the Making Up the Numbers podcast. The Making Up the Numbers podcast is sponsored by Hope Technology, J-Tech Suspension, Revolution Bike Park, Ride Southern Spain, Schwal, and the world's finest independent mountain bike magazine, Singletrack.
Season 3, Episode 8 of the pod. Jack, Greg Minnaar, can you believe he did it?
I can't, mate. He's just another level, isn't he? I mean, already the greatest of all time, and then he goes and does that.
I know. I'm still trying to get my head around it. I mean, he could have just shared the link, couldn't he? But no, he writes an Instagram story saying he's honoured to be invited on our podcast. Still struggling to get my head around it. What a guy.
He's just a legend, isn't he, mate? So bloody humble.
Oh, we jest. What a weekend. What a race. Thank you to Greg Minnaar for posting that. You made my week. Then, of course, Greg and Miriam go and win Worlds, and people have been asking if we had a crystal ball. Did you see it coming, Jack?
I think I called Miriam, didn't I? But I definitely didn't call Greg. I called Loris. And, I mean, he's been looking mint in Maribor on track, and then I saw some videos of him at Val di Sole, and I was like, whoa, like he's definitely going to be up there. But he's never won at Val di Sole. I don't think he's never really done that well there. So, yeah. No, I didn't see it coming, but yeah, what a ride.
Well, let's rewind a little bit because there are a couple of big crashes before racing started. Loic and Brooke both had big ones. Loic's almost broke the internet, I think. How lucky were they both to walk away from them?
Yeah, Loic's was really weird. Like, it was almost like the bike magically saved him on that second rock. Like,
yeah,
maybe it's just the way he had his fork set up. I don't know, but it looked like he should have gone over the bars on that, nosing into that rock, and he just ended up bouncing out of it. And so, yeah, he got really lucky. And I mean, Brooke just had a horrendous crash, didn't he? And he's just so hard, so he just dealt with it.
Have you watched the video there? The video of him, like what happened when he's like talking to the doctor and stuff?
No, I don't like watching crashes. So I kind of half watched the crash and then gone, oh.
The doctor goes, are you in pain? And he went, I'll be all right. Just let me get my breath.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Yeah, I know.
So on to the racing. Valley seeded fastest and then crashed in a run. I thought she was going to do it. I had a bit of a change of a heart after our predictions. I went Valley Holan, and I thought Matt Walker might do it. But I thought it's the fairy tale, in it. She's not having the best season, but then she goes and wins Worlds. But it wasn't to be. You had your money on Miriam. Did you think Valley was going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, after she qualified first, I thought... I mean, the thing is, I wasn't surprised when she qualified first because we know she's been up there with speed, but, she just needs that. It just needs to click for her, doesn't it? And I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably frustrating for her, but I'm sure it will click and happen soon.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great race. Marine looked like she'd done enough, but then Miriam puts nearly 5 seconds into her. She's just riding brilliantly at the minute, isn't she? Yeah,
she's. I mean, yeah. Marine's run was really good, and to put 5 seconds into that was pretty crazy. So yeah, she's doing really, really well. It's nice to see. She had so many injuries over the years. It's really nice to see it clicking now.
Yeah, I saw a comment somewhere that somebody said she's riding like Rachel was in her prime now. She's riding at that pace where you think she's smashing it now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she's doing real well. And I spoke to the head engineer at Commensal earlier when we were on track walk, and he said it was kind of a weird situation for Miriam to be in last week because she went into it the favourite, and I don't think she's kind of felt like that before.
Yeah.
So they said it was kind of a difficult situation for her because it was quite new mentally. So
yeah. Cool. Marine ended up second. It's good to see her back up there, and Camille took the bronze. She cemented a place at the top of the elite field now, hasn't she, Camille?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she's done it on all different kinds of tracks now. And yeah, that's just going to be interesting to see how good she gets because she's still got way less experience than riders like Miriam. So it's going to be interesting.
So, Greg, as you've just said, you didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. At what point in the race did you think he's got this?
until Thibaut crashed out or until Thibaut's split came up, because for me, like Worlds, usually it's won with that like standout ride, and usually Val d'Isole is won with that standout ride. Even in 2019, when Laurie won at Val d'Isole, I think he won by 3 seconds plus. Gwynny's won there by 8. Sam Hill would have won there by a ridiculous margin if he didn't wash out in that corner. So it's one of those tracks where there is so much time on the track. So when Greg was only 0.3 up going into the last few guys, I was like, it's not enough. Somebody's going to turn it on. So it was only when Thibaut's splits came up, I thought, hang on. And then when he crashed, it was like, well, that's, we know now.
Yeah, indeed. The top 5 were separated by under 2 seconds. That's super tight racing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely for Worlds. Same as what I just said, for sure. Crazy. Wasn't expecting it.
So Benoit Coulange, now a solid podium threat at World Cup level.
Yeah, like shout out to Benoit. I know he listens to the pod, and he's a top lad. I've known him for years, and I saw him in the pits today and had a chat with him, and I said 0.3, mate, 0.3, and he just looked at me and just went, wow, 0.2, as if like, my kind of point was, can you believe you were 0.3 off a gold medal? Like, and his point was just like, oh, yeah, I was really close, like I almost had it. And then I said it, in the conversation, I said, is it sunk in yet? And he just went, oh, sorry. Oh no, say that again. At one point in the conversation, I said, has it sunk in yet? And he just looked at me and went, yes. So like my point is, he's clearly like owning it, and he's making it. It's normal to him now that he is a podium threat and he is a top 10 rider. So yeah, it's great to see.
And how's his English coming along? Because he said we've asked him to come on the pod, but he wasn't that confident with his English, and I'm really keen to get him on now to see how he's made that jump.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think his English is good enough for it, for sure. So I'll put a bit more pressure on him. Hopefully we get him on the next couple of weeks. So
normal service has been resumed. I'm back here at my station, back in the UK, looking out on grey skies. And you're in Lenzerheide now. But yesterday we recorded with Trek Factory Racing's Loris Vergier, and you can hear that interview after these messages. Loris Vergier, a big welcome to the show. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. We are in Lenzerheide right now. It's a bit cold, but other than that, like all good. And you guys?
Excellent. Yeah, we're all right, thanks. I'm in the UK, a very grey UK, and Jack is in a service station somewhere.
Yeah, we left home. What time did we leave, Dan? About 2:00 yesterday in the afternoon. We're on for an 11:30 crossing at night, but we managed to get about 4 hours earlier. So, yeah, still had 5 hours sleep, which was good. So we're going to push on. 2 hours left, and then we'll be joining Loris at Lenzerheide. So, yeah, excited.
Cool. Well, Loris, I had a quick look, and I know you did a couple of pods with the syndicate, but I couldn't find any solo ones. Surely you must have done one.
I've done one with the boys, and it was quite hard. Like everyone was speaking English, and it was tough for me. Like it's not the most comfortable thing to do when you're French, but so I'm trying to avoid them really.
Well, thank you very much for agreeing to do this one. And you might have a bit of trouble understanding me and Jack because we're quite northern accents. So just shout if there's anything we say that isn't clear. Thanks very much for coming on. Let's go back a little bit. 2014, you were the junior world champion and you won the junior World Cup overall. If you look at the list of riders who've achieved those wins, it's almost like a rite of passage up through the elite ranks. Did those wins give you a lot of confidence?
So my junior years were pretty good. I was battling with Luca and I had like a couple wins, and it was actually really stressful. So I ended up getting a lot of experience into like that managing a season. But then confidence-wise, like it was good for sponsor too. Like you could get a good deal, and people were looking up to you. So a little bit of confidence for sure.
Cool. You came on pretty quickly and had 3 second-place World Cup finishes. You finished second at Leogang in 2016 to Aaron, and again at 2017 to Aaron at Leogang, and then 2018 to Amari at Fort William. Did you ever doubt that you might win one?
So back in the days, like when you look at a season, like Gwyn was dominating, like he was putting heater like every week basically, and I had some moments, like I had some good runs, but overall in the season, I was struggling to get like podiums all the time. So I was more focused on getting consistency, fast pace, than getting like a win. But obviously, in Leogang, I had like some crazy moments, and I thought I could do it. And it's been the same like with Maribor. Like I have some tracks that I like more. But yeah, back in the day, I was just trying to be consistent on the podium, and it was tough.
Well, the first win did come just a few weeks later in 2018 in Valnord. I remember it well because we were out there racing Masters Worlds, and so we arrived a few days early to watch the World Cup, and I was in the stands when you crossed the line. I think you went nearly 5 seconds up, but there were about 10 or so riders still to come down, and a Maori pushed you closest. Tell us a little bit about that experience and what it meant to you to win your first World Cup.
So Andorra is special to me. It's like probably my first podium as a junior. Like I crashed into the finish line and finished second, and that was wild. Like I had a great time. So that was a little bit different in 18. Like I qualified maybe 11 for 14 with a crash and a stupid one, and I hurt my hand. So I was really pissed off. Like I didn't really sleep well at night. Like I was like, I'm not sure I'm gonna ride tomorrow. Like it was a really bad weekend. And the weekend previously we went Val di Sol and I crashed during my race run. So let me tell you, I was fired up. Like I was, angry. So for my race run, I just fuel the power with angriness, I guess, and I did a really good run, and I was like, this is good. That feels nice. Like keep going. Like it feels really good. And then my whole family was there, like my brother, like my whole family. So it was definitely really special. I cried, and it probably one of the best moments of my life for sure. Like winning in front of your parents and family in a crowd that you like and on a track that you really love. So it was insane.
Excellent. Well, I travelled out to Masters Worlds that year with Mark Wakeman, and he won the 45 to 49 category. A big shout out to Mark because he's a legend of the UK scene, and he's out at the minute with a really bad shoulder injury. You stuck around for a few days and you presented the winners' medals, which was a really nice touch. Your dad's raced Masters Worlds a few times, and as has Loic's dad. Are they as big a rivals as you and Loic?
Yes and no, because like my dad is more into, it was faster like XC rider than JP, so Loic's dad. So whenever it was XC, my dad was a bit faster, and whenever it was downhill, Loic's dad was faster. So the rivalry was different, I'd say. But yeah, they always together. Like they did a 3-day trials moto like 2 weeks ago. So Loic's dad, my dad, and Thibaut's dad, Aprella. Yeah. So yeah, we are like, our family are still close, and it's funny to see. But yeah, they always ride bikes and have fun. So even when you're almost 60, it's crazy to see. Like it's amazing.
Well, Claude's still pretty handy on a bike, isn't he? He put nearly a minute into me at Val di Sol in 2016.
Really?
Yeah. I went into
good.
So, Loic, he's always been the big brother. He's kind of steaming ahead, setting the pace. On the last episode of the pod, Jack stated, and then Greg agreed with him, that you've become the man to beat now. Do you feel like you've taken over the running?
I think Loic has a better understanding of how a full season works, and like he has more experience, he knows what to do, and he has the surrounding to do it well also. So I'm still learning like every day, and so far I don't feel like that. Like I'm trying to be as fast as I can like every race, and I don't consider myself as like the man to beat really. Like everyone is really fast, they can win every round. Not everyone, but like there's 5 people who can do it. So I'm part of that 5 people, and I'm just trying to be as fast as I can. But yeah, no, so far like he's still the man, and a lot of people are the man. So yeah, it's cool. I mean, the sport evolves in a way that it's cool to watch a race because you never know what's going to happen. And I like it that way also.
Yeah. Nice. So fast forward to 2019, and there's certain races that I've been at in my career that I will always remember. And Val Nord 2019 is one of them. Because when you came down from that run, I remember, I think I was standing with Mike Jones and Matt Simmons, and we all just looked at each other and went, well, that's that done. You went into the lead by about 5 seconds, and it was that standout run that normally wins a World Cup. I think we've been told that Loic heard your time when he was at the top. Maybe that's right, maybe not. And then he put 3 seconds into you and God knows how much into everybody else at the top split. What did you think when you saw that top split come up? Can you remember back? Because we were all...
So that race was, again, like pretty crazy. I had a good run. I had like some moments where, I don't know why, like I was struggling with my cleats at the time. Like I was getting unclipped sometimes. So I was not fully happy about my run, but I knew it was a good run. Like I had I lost 0.5 at some point. But then anyway, so I was on the hot seat and I was like, oh, let's, hope. And so 3.5 second quicker, I was like, oh yeah, okay. I'm not even looking, like he's going to win, that's for sure. And then every single split, it was coming down to a little less and less and less. And then he crossed the finish line and it was actually really tight. And I was like, that's insane. Like how? And yeah, it felt good because we did first and second, and I would have wanted to win, obviously, but it was still a great weekend. It was pretty crazy. Like to be that tight after such a high margin on top. Like we basically did 2 different races. Like I started slow and then catch up, and he did a fast start. So in the end, it was cool for the public, I guess, because it was, a little bit tight.
Yeah, it was cool for the public and cool for all of us as well, because as I said, when you get a standout ride like that where somebody is miles ahead, I mean, it didn't even happen last week at Worlds, and it usually does. Yeah. But for 2 of you guys to be that far out front, it was pretty crazy. So yeah, it was cool to watch. So 2020, it seemed like someone flicked the switch for you. You went from being, as you just said, one of the 5 guys who, people were looking at to kind of, as what we said before, the man to be. You don't see it like that. That's fair enough. Is there anything in particular you put your success down to in 2020? Did something change?
So what happened, 2020 was a really tough year for everyone. We had obviously COVID, like late season and everything. But in France so far, we had still races. We had like French Cups. So probably 4 or 5 races that I did before the season. And also something that nobody recalls, but I was riding full 29 for my whole like syndicate days. And then in 2020, we had a mullet bike, and that was a relief for me because you can actually do what you want on the bike. Like you can have fun, you can go fast, you can feel yourself. And that was one big step. And also obviously riding 4 or 5 races before basically anyone, like only the Frenchies and Greg and Luca were at those races. So I think we had a little ahead time on the bike, like racing weeks, like weekends, and came to Maribor and the race, like the season. And I was like, I'm fired up. Like I know how to race. I know how to go fast under clock and under pressure. So definitely helped. The combo was good for me, and I was ready. I wanted to be world champion, really. It didn't happen. Like it was quite tough, but we moved forward and put down like some good laps. And yeah, it was a great season so far. And yeah, it didn't work out as I wanted, but we're still here to fight and we keep doing it. So.
Absolutely. I believe you started using a sports psychologist as well. What made you decide to do that, and what have you taken from it?
So 2019 was kind of tough situation because like the boss at Santa Cruz was like, it's the first time no one has won a World Cup for the syndicate in a...
Wow.
So we had like, not pressure, but okay, we need to hurry up and do good, Yeah. So I wanted to do good for myself also because I've been racing in a way that I don't think was, let's say, sustainable. Like you just go too hard or crash or just go slow kind of. And he helped me figured out like how to race kind of, because in your head it's tough. Like it's a risk versus reward, and you don't want to overcook it. You don't want to do too much. You don't want to do not enough. And you just want to be into that zone where you feel comfortable and be happy or whatever you've done. Like,
Yep.
So I've grown up in that sense where I try to do like everything possible to feel good on Sunday and tick every boxes. And if I did, I'd be happy anyway. So it helped me in that sense where, now I'm trying to do the best I can and be proud of myself. So it definitely helped.
Nice. I've just clicked my fingers at Dan to make sure he was listening to that, because he doesn't listen to podcasts. But everything you've just said is pretty much what I've been telling him throughout the last couple of weeks. And I think hearing you say that will really hammer the message home. I couldn't agree more. So you seeded first at Worlds and you were fastest at the first split. This is still 2020, and ended up 10th. And as you've said, it was disappointing. And then boom, race 1, Maribor, first place, you win by over 2.5 seconds. Race 2, Maribor, first place again. Everyone's saying how great you're riding and that the title's basically yours. Did that put a lot of pressure on you going to lose it? How did you feel leaving Maribor?
So after the first race, I felt good. Winning is always nice. But we had to go back the next day, like riding, and you want to enjoy your win. Like it was a great night for whatever, and then just move forward, and you're already riding on the same track, and you need to be focused again. And it wasn't the best win because obviously no one was there. Like it was COVID times, and it felt nice, but it wasn't like winning in Andorra. Like it was lame. Let's say. So fast forward, you just race again, and I just didn't feel again like the man to be. I was just like trying to having a good run. I was wearing for the first time the leader jersey, and I was like, ooh, that's not common. Like it's cool. So I tried to have a good run, and I put down like something just consistent, nothing crazy, and it was enough. It was really close again with Loic. So I had that edge on him for once. I was like, normally the opposite. So sorry, bro. Like I take this one. And then, we moved to Lusa and definitely felt a bit different. Like I knew Lusa a little bit, like we've been testing there and I knew I could do good. But then same, I had like a margin with points and I didn't want to do too many stupid things, and stupid things happen. Got a flat on the only spot like possible. And from that, like it was a big moment for me. Like I wasn't ready for that. I had like a platter with food on it and then just step and then everything falls and you're like, oh, I thought I had food. So it was a tough moment, and basically trying to save that the next day by not pedaling too much because we didn't have like points on quali the second race because it was the last race. And same, didn't work out because I raced under the rainy condition, and if I would have like tried harder on quali, I would have raced with everyone at the end of the race. So again, I say bad luck or karma, I don't know, but it was a bad loser. Loser was bad for me. But same, like when you're grown up, you just take it and move forward. Like there's nothing wrong about it. I'm happy in life. Everything was good. Won 2 races, still on the podium at the end, like top 5 overall. So it was still a good season.
Nice. Well, it's good to hear you moved on well from that and quickly. So nice.
Cool. 3 seasons on the Santa Cruz Syndicate. What made you want to move on?
So when you look at your career and yourself, you just have periods of your life where you feel like you need something. And I was in the French team with Loic being the fast rider, and I was like, okay, I kind of want to be, in the American team, look cool, and want to be a Frenchie, but not the second Frenchie. So moved to the syndicate because I wanted to be cool, and it's the dream team. Like everyone that's been on that team has been like super cool. So I was like, I try. I want to be part of that. And then just go there and it's basically a good bike. Everything is fun and you're like, okay, now what do I do? Like, I want to go faster. I want to improve things. I want to be professional. Like, it's another step in life and in your racing career. And it wasn't going the direction I wanted. Like, it was stuck somewhere, like, just okay. And I wanted to try to have excellence. And yeah, just it needs to keep going forward with everything. Otherwise, you just get stuck in a random place. So that was my move. Like, I wanted to go into a race team, and I did. And so far, it was difficult because you change everything for sure. But then I think it was worth it because we are improving things. I'm improving myself, and the team is helping me to be a better rider. So it was the reason why.
When did you make the decision? Because, you know, you had a really good 2020 season. Did you make it before that? And then did you have any doubts after you've come in and smoked everyone twice at Maribor? Did you think, I've had a great season on the V10?
Yeah, actually, yeah. The decision was made like before Worlds. I was like, I need to leave, boys. I'm sorry. And it was difficult because, yeah, the whole team knew I was leaving, but nobody knew. So it was weird. And I think it also removed some pressure. Like, when you think about it, like, you know, you're going to leave, like, no pressure anymore, just ride. And I had a great time. I won, and I was like, yeah, I can do it again. I want to do it again somewhere else, and I will. And I did. And that's why it was also a great win for me in Maribor again this year, just because it was a relief that I can do it basically in another team, in another bike on, like, it was the same track. That's sad. I'm riding well in Maribor. That's not too good. So I need to figure out things to ride better everywhere else. But so far, yeah, it was a let's say great move, but a hard one for sure.
Okay. Were there lots of offers on the table, or was it just Trek came in and you thought, yep, that's where I want to be?
So the problem with offers, like, when you think about it, like, every good team has a one face already, you know, like Mondraker, like every big team has someone, and Trek were looking for a person, and they've been asking, like, they were maybe 2 years before, like, saying, like, asking, like, oh, we really want you, like, they were interested, and we were having, like, conversation, like a good conversation, like good relationship. Yeah. So I always knew it was somewhere I could fit and be good. And when the time, like, was when it was the time, like, I was like, okay, let's actually talk. And we tried the bike, and I was like, okay, I don't know. And yeah, it was pretty difficult because you basically don't know much. Like, you don't have a season on the bike. You don't have anything. You just expect it to be a certain way. And obviously it worked out, but you never know. So it was a difficult moment, but the choice was a good one. So far it was good.
Nice. The syndicate's known as being a real, like, fun team environment. After European champs in Maribor, after the IXS Cup, before European champs in Maribor, we were walking, me and Dan had just been in the track walk or something, and we came back, and Greg and Steve and the mechanics and a couple of other people were having beers out the back of the pits playing football. I ended up joining in a game of footy with them and almost took Steve's head off, and everyone was just having a right laugh. Do you have, like, a favourite standout memory from being on the team? Because it seems like you must have some good ones from my small experience with them 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so every time we had fun, so it was pretty much like every week. Like, there's always a moment with the syndicate where you have fun. Like, it's the most important thing is to have fun, really. Sure. So every time we were going to Lisbon, oh my God, it was going wild. Like, the main thing we remember, it was one of the first year we went to Lusa to test, and then after the test, like, it was the week before the race, I don't know where we were flying to, like maybe Lourdes or something. We went to Cuban bar, and then we started trying to dance like the hot chick in there. Yep. And it was yeah, so many moments. I don't have like a special one, but it was pretty crazy. Like Steve is on fire, and Greg obviously is, Greg. Yeah. Even after his winning, like last week, we had so much fun. They're great people and they happy in life, and that's all that matters. Like we want to have, a good life, and so far that's what they do, and that's why they are my friends. So
nice. So moving back to Trek, you've gone from, and this is really interesting, I found, you've gone from a carbon frame and carbon rims to an alloy frame and alloy rims. You've gone from Shimano to SRAM, from Fox to RockShox, and from Maxxis to Bontrager. We honestly can't think of any other things really that could be different for you. Which of those changes have been most noticeable? Has it been a big change on the bike, or have you not found it to be too difficult to change?
So something let's say you didn't forget, but like the most standing out thing, it was like the high pivot really. That's like to ride, it's completely opposite. So I had to take time and almost rethink the way I ride. So when you push on a corner with a V10, you just go and turn and that's it. And you just learn how to do it and you keep doing it. And I jumped on the high pivot and I was like, I can't do that anymore. Like the bike goes longer. It doesn't want to turn as good. So you need to take a step back and be like, okay, rethink how to ride. So just carry speed. Don't be aggressive in corners and stuff like that. And then obviously, like we had so much more choice. Like my V10 was like carbon wheels, carbon frame, stock, basically frame. So we didn't have crazy options. And now I can be, like we have carbon rims that we can try. We have so many stuff to try. And let's say I got lost. I tried everything. And now I found, the setup. So it's good. But before the season, like people would tell me, oh, you had a great winter. Like I can tell it, I can put my money on you. And I was like, I haven't raced any walk-up on that bike. Like I don't know the pace. I don't know what setup works. Like it takes time. And after a while, like now I found it, but definitely like carbon wheels were a big deal. The flex, like the comfort you don't get on carbon wheels was noticeable. And then same with the frame, like the frame allows you to feel like less bumpy and like, it's definitely more comfortable. And the other things, nothing really, like brakes, they break, suspension, they work. But yeah, let's say wheels were a big thing too, because you can definitely feel a difference. And it was cool to actually feel it because it was maybe 4 years since I didn't ride like alloy rims. So I was like, oh, this is soft. This is weird. But yeah, it's cool. Really cool to have that opportunity to see everything and be able to choose. So I was a happy test rider.
Nice. Well, I was going to ask you how long it took you to get the session set up and what the process was, but it sounds like you just did a load of puzzling in the winter, and then until you got to the World Cup, you weren't really sure, and it was the World Cup that confirmed things. Is that right?
It's right, and it's still going. Like I don't think it's a rolling ball. Like you keep going and keep trying stuff. But so far, like for wheel setup, like you ride at home on the slow track and you feel like this is the one, and then you go to any walk-up track and this is way too soft, or this is, like everything changed. So there's nothing else than riding walk-up tracks, walk-up pace, and that's where you really test. So it's good to have like great winter, but as long as you didn't race, like you don't really know your setup. And so far we still, trying to fine tune stuff. And that's what I like really, because if you're stuck with the same bike all year and be like, oh, it feels nice, like it's getting boring. I like
change keeps you sharp. Are you using data acquisition technology as well, or are you just riding off feel and time?
So basically, I haven't ever until last weekend put it on just to I have data of what I feel, of what really is going on. And we have a new shock. I don't know if you guys saw, like it's a black box thing, whatever. I can't really feel like any bottom out. Like if I am bottoming out, I have no clue. So when we actually put the data on, I was like, we go deep, and it's cool to see that, because other than that, I can probably tell you what's going on the bike, but you can get away with data, but it's the right way to go. And the sport is getting so much like more detailed and fast that I think you need to go that way, and want to go that way. And we're going to try to be part of that elite, who can test and have data and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm excited for the next chapter.
Nice.
So final question from this section. How much do you miss winding Geordie up?
Actually, Geordie and I had a really good relationship. Like we were talking about random stuff, and I was showing up to the pit just to talk with him. Like nothing was wrong on the bike, or just have a chat and say, it feels like that. I don't want to change anything, but it feels a bit weird there. It's like, you're good. Have a good run. Like it was more like a friend and a psychologist than a really crazy fine-tuned thing. So I definitely miss him, but I see him around, so it's fine.
Well, we'll be talking 2021 after these messages. On to 2021. How have you fitted into the Trek team? I think they're a pretty tight bunch, and it's pretty common knowledge that Reece was on his way out until he won Worlds. So it's quite a kind of unusual scenario.
Yeah, especially with COVID, like you can't really notice it when you're like a fan, but normally during winter we have like team camps, and we see everyone, and you meet new people, and then you get used to it, and then you show up to a World Cup while knowing everyone. And it wasn't the case. Like I basically was by myself with my mechanic all winter and show up to the first race without knowing anyone. So it was definitely a little bit weird, and we get to know each other more and more every week. And the more time I spend with them, the more fun I have and the more comfortable I am. And so far it's really good. And I think even Reece is really mature about everything. He's really smart, and I think he knows like how to separate things, and he's just a good guy, let's say a good friend now. So yeah, we talked about it, like, yeah, he knows it was not the best thing to happen, but we make it work. So far so good.
Excellent. The season didn't start particularly well. You flatted in Leogang. Are you running any inserts? And if not, are you tempted to?
Remembering back in the day when inserts were not on the market yet, we had DT Swiss wheels, and we were having like flats sometimes. So we had to run like a custom made thing. And then after that, we changed sponsors, and I'd never run insert. So I'm not used to those. I don't run them. And so far it's all good. But yeah, Leogang was a tough one. I had a crash in quali, and I was a little bit hurt on my ankle. So I didn't know if I could actually ride fast or not. And then we put new tires on, and they just didn't hold on. Like I did four corners, and it blew up. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't anybody's fault. Like sometimes it happens. And yeah, it was a bad day without being a bad day. Like it's a mechanical, you can't do anything, and you just move forward. Like don't hold any grudge, and it is what it is.
You seeded third at Vergier, and consequently kind of came down in the worst of the weather. I saw an interview with you in which you said you had fun in that run. Did you really enjoy the run, or was it just when you got to the bottom you didn't really know what else to say?
No, I swear, like our sport is so gnarly. Like I was kind of scared like all week to ride that track on wet conditions. Like it was really gnarly. Normally, like in a season, we get 2 gnarly tracks, and then the rest is like you can ride it down fast without being scared. But Vergier wasn't. Like it was pretty gnarly. like really technical, fast, like everything. And when the rain came, I was like, oh boy, I'm not ready for that. Like, and I still managed to have let's say a good run. I didn't crash. I had fun. I swear, like when everything goes to plan, let's say on your run, like you don't crash, you rear some corners and you stay alive. I was stoked. Like our sport was cool at that moment. Like I had fun. So no, I had really good fun. But because I didn't crash, if you crash, it's like, nah, it's rain again, unlucky. But yeah, no, so far I had fun.
Cool. So coming into Maribor, you're way back in the overall. How much pressure was on you to get a result there?
I say a lot on myself for my part. Like you are coming into a new team as trying to get good results, and obviously you feel like you need to give them a little bit. And I was way back. I had 2 bad races. I was like, let's go now. I wanted to have a good race without crashing, and I did a good race. So I was relieved. Like it's the word, like I was relieved, and now I can just be myself again, just like trying to have fun, ride fast, and don't think too much. But before that, it was more like have a good results like soon, because that doesn't feel nice. Like the situation wasn't nice for me or anyone. So it was good to have like a confirmed good results, and then now we can just move on and have a good rest of the season.
Yeah. So when a guest confirms for the pod, I always ask a few of my friends if they've got any questions. And my friend Sean asked me to ask you, when was the last time you rode a trail and thought nobody in the world could ride that faster? And I responded, he'll probably say Sunday the 15th of August in Maribor, roughly around 3 p.m. But he followed that up by asking if you knew on track that it was the fastest run. You'd seeded first and you went 3 seconds quicker in your race run. Did you kind of know it was the winning run?
So let's say Maribor, there's like a section down the bottom. I don't know why. I really don't. Like the first time I won there, some French signal guy, I don't know what you call it, like the guy on the track, like
Marshals.
Yeah. And I heard them saying, "Good, you go," like in French, like you up, like you good. And I was like, nice, that feels good. And then actually in my race run at the same spot, I heard a woman say something again. And I was like, okay, just don't blow it. Like stay on the track. But yeah, it felt nice because I knew I had like a little edge down the bottom. I have no idea why. I was faster on the last split where there was nothing. Like it was a jump and then tarmac. And as long as I was going there like with a little bit of, margin, I knew I could do it. And when I crossed the finish line and saw green, I was like, ooh, that's sick. But yeah, it would be cool to have like a someone that just tells you, but it's not common yet. And maybe it will be in a couple of years, but we'll see how the sport evolves.
Bluetooth helmets with someone talking to you the whole way down at each split. It won't be long. Like
that one, I don't know how they do it.
Exactly the same.
Every turn they have like something. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it'll for sure. Okay, so after winning both Maribor World Cups, I think we've mentioned that, and then you'd won European Champs the week before. You won the World Cups last year. You're undoubtedly the king of Maribor. What is it about that track that you love? Do you have an idea of why you're so fast there?
Let's say I ride when it's like medium fast speed and nothing really like super tight or technical. I feel good. Like I want to ride fast. I don't know why. It's whenever there's a trail, it's straight or a bit fast. Like I want to push and go even faster. And I guess the track is good for me just because there's nothing that stalls you. There's no, like there's a flow that I like.
You've always got flow there for sure.
Yeah. And same with like the bike, I think you can get away with a lot of things. You can ride the bike stiff because it's short. You can ride the bike, you can get away with everything really. And we fine-tuned the bike to feel comfy on the last day and even the week before, because obviously it was a good run. And yeah, there's something about there that I like, short and fast.
I'm guessing you're not a huge fan of the Enduro World Series events that you've done before then. If you're a lover of flow.
Yeah, it was stuff like, I've done one in the first year ever that EWS was happening. It was in Alpe d'Huez, and you were going up with chairlift, and actually it was sick. Like, I had a lot of fun there. But then pedaling up and then finale, I did it twice. It was horrible. Like, just pedal and then off. Yeah, it was tough. But I would like to get better at it. Like, I think now you need to be really technical and be good on your bike everywhere. So I need to step up my game on the slow technical stuff.
I don't know if you've listened to the previous episode of the show, but Greg mentioned your effortless style, and he compared your riding to like a professional pianist who can play the piano perfectly. So that was quite a nice compliment, I think. Is that something you consciously work on, your riding style, or do you feel your riding style just comes naturally?
I think it's a tough one. Like, I'm really lazy. Like, I'm lazy on the bike. I'm lazy on everything I do. I try to do it the most perfect possible to get away with pedaling, with trying hard. Like, so everything I do, like when it's rough, I try to skim stuff. I try to avoid rocks. I'm like, where can I put my wheels to just keep rolling and not slow down? And to me, it comes from laziness, just because, you know, it's easier to go around and carry speed than just take it and be tired.
You're like a modern day Bryceland then.
I wish Bryson was like way more talented. It was insane. Like, he had...
It's crazy.
Yeah, immense. But so far, like, learning how to ride your bike, let's say flawless and just get, smooth is my goal every time, just because that's the way I am. So you harness that and you try to do it on Sunday, but it's tough. Like, the track is gnarly, the people are gnarly, and it's crazy. It's a great sport.
It is, man. So, Worlds then. You and Laurie were the names on everybody's lips. I'd picked you for it, but Laurie was the second guy. I was thinking, he could definitely win the Worlds there. You seeded first for the second year in a row, and then ended up fourth. How are you feeling this week?
So same, like, we talk about like how I grew up and I try to tick boxes and make everything right, and then whatever happens, like, you be happy. I did everything I needed to, I thought, and looking back, I probably would have done it differently, but it was different in Maribor. Like, the track was so gnarly, and then you were coming up into the last section pretty tired, and I would have done it differently, where I set up my bike to feel comfortable until then, and then the bottom part was just like a bottom part, like just cruise down, and it didn't work. So I would have changed that if I can go back in the past. But so far, like, it was a great weekend. Like, it was rough. I didn't crash. I didn't, got scared on track. I felt confident, and I just wanted to have a decent, good run, because that's obviously Worlds, and you can crash and be even more like disappointed. So it wasn't a firing run, like from midway down, but it was a decent, good one. So I guess I'm happy. Like, I didn't want to be fourth. I wanted to obviously try to win, but it's like that. So moving forward, I just have experience now, and you need to actually go for it all the way down and take risk all the way down. You can't just
For sure. I was just about to ask you, we've had a couple of people on the podcast recently, who, Greg being one of them, who have said that the way the sport is now compared with maybe, 6-7 years ago, you have to be pushing from gate to finish. And that is a typical world champs kind of attitude. We saw it from Dak Norton, Laurie, Angel, big crashes, obviously pushing their limits. Do you feel like it sounds like you feel like you left some time on the hill? Do you feel like you kind of thought, I'm riding real well, I can win this leaving some time on the hill, or was it just one of those things?
So I was warming up and we were watching Loris run, and I've heard he crashed. So I was like, okay, that's good. Sorry, Laurie. Like, I was like, he's definitely on my list to win. Like,
Danger man.
I'm confident that people would crash also, and I was like feeling good about like just having a decent, good run would not be enough, but would be good. And I definitely would have maybe done it differently just on the bike. Like, I set up the bike so it was insane until I was dead, and it was pretty hard to ride. So that was my fault. Like, rebound wise, it was tough to set up your bike because the top was really fast and rough and like choppy, but big hits. And the bottom was just like trying to manage your speed and, you know, like a bit more technical and slow. So rebound was not fully perfect on the bottom part, and I lost time. But so far, like, it was crazy. Like, the racing is insane. And when you look at everyone who's been fast this week, we all can take like not a medal, but it's
sure.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, sorry to push you on that, but it's just really interesting what you said. So I just wanted to get as much info as I could from you there, because it's super interesting. Okay, so one thing we did want to ask, Worlds works a little differently to the World Cups. You've got that little practice day between qualifying and finals. How did you play that? Did you learn anything in that middle day, or was it kind of just stay alive and get to race day?
So I was talking with Gaëtan Ruffin after the race, and he was on the side watching because he couldn't race. And he was telling me, you're the most disappointing thing ever happening this weekend. Like, I saw you on track the first day. I was like, what the hell? Like, you were on fire. And then from the first day, you kept going slower. And it definitely felt like that. And I feel like someday you just feel confident because you don't know how fast you can go. So every time you go out, you get a little sketchy and you find limits everywhere. And then that extra day doesn't help because you've been everywhere a bit too fast, and now you're scared. So you're like, and the track also was rougher and rougher, and we were tired. So I don't think that extra day helped at all. Like, I think for maybe people who doesn't ride much, but then we do. So we don't need that extra days, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's funny, like, after what you just said there, I found for a number of years being British, I'd go to Fort William and I'd do some testing, and then I'd do the national before the World Cup. And then sometimes if the national didn't go as well as I wanted it to, or if it went well and I was like, oh, this is going to be a good World Cup, I'd go back again. So by the time I'd do the World Cup, I'd have been there 4 times before the race. And you get stuck at the wrong speed. Because like you said earlier, there is nothing like World Cup pace. It's like a switch. And if you've just got stuck at the wrong speed, it can be really difficult to get out of that. So I can relate to what you're saying. My last question for you. Greg said some very, very nice things about you last week. He's just won World Championships again. What have you got to say about Greg? Wrap him up in a nutshell.
So all week in Val d'Isère, we had obviously a lot of like videos coming from like the French team, like everyone, like the WhatsApp group was like, you know, flood. Ding, 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 ding. And he was a step faster than everyone. Like, he was doing jumps. I was like, wow. Even not tired, I would be like, I'm good. Like, I was impressed, and I was telling people about it. Like, I was telling him, I was telling Rob, because Rob was there like for the race. Rob, the owner, creator of Santa Cruz, and he just knows like what to do, when to do it, and he's young in his head. So I don't feel like he has anything to lose compared to us. Like he's part of the best rider right now, even after being like whatever years old. And it's crazy to see. So I think once you fine tune your setup, your riding style, like obviously he knows the bike, he knows how to ride it. A Santa Cruz is basically Greg Minal, like it's, and he just can focus on lines and speed. And that's what you want actually on like World Championship. Like once you sort everything out, you just focus on speed and lines. And I think Benoit was the same. When you look back, like he's been on the bike for, I don't know, let's say 2 years. It's pretty much the same. He didn't change, like at least what I saw, like he has the same front tire, same back tire that he had in Maribor. Like he knows the setup, like he rides all the time. And Greg was the same for the past like 3 years. He's been detailing stuff, not changing a lot. And I think they did good. So impressive, and obviously looking forward to maybe one day trying to be like him, trying to have fun, good life, and win stuff and just enjoy it. So it looks unreal from our perspective.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that, sorry, George, just the way you top guys in this sport talk about each other. I just think it's so cool. Like I'm convinced it's kind of a Greg thing, but also like Loic, like over the years, he's so friendly, and like, I just hope the sport never loses the respect you kind of top 5 to 10 lads, most of you anyway, all have for each other. And it's just mint to see like the happiness you guys have for each other at the bottom when somebody just beat you, but you're still genuinely, happy for their run. So yeah, it's mint to see. So nice one. Keep it going.
One last question on Worlds. You seeded first last year, didn't win. You seeded first this year. I know it's seeding. It's not really seeding. Will you be going as hard in seeding next year?
That's the thing with me. Like seeding is no pressure. You can just have fun, ride whatever you like, and take your time. And I'm good at taking my time. And for some reason, I seeded first. So. And I just don't know if the others like are taking their time and they just don't want to show the speed, because probably some would. But I enjoy it. I enjoy riding fast on seating, and it doesn't really matters anyway because it's not even seating.
No.
So I'll try next year again, but probably I'll go on the better results on Sunday, I hope.
So
you're
back to
harder in finals. I know that from the conversation with that.
So back to business this weekend, chasing down the overall. You're currently sitting fourth on 316 points. Greg's in third on 330, Troy in second on 353, and Thibaut's way ahead on 590. With the last round being a double header, there's still 750 points to play for. Are you confident you can pull it back, or is Thibaut too far ahead?
It basically needs to just be out of one race. So I don't think it's saying, and I don't really think about points. Like we're in Lenzerheide right now. You just want to focus on trying to be fast here, and then same in snowshoe, and take like every race as a race, and we'll see. But so far, like I would never expect to be top 4 right now. Like I had no results besides winning, so it's crazy to be part of that, and I'm just relieved and happy to be there. So we're gonna have to get points and ride fast, but not thinking of catching Thibaut. Just to see.
So you've not had your best results in Lenzerheide. I think you've just only podium once there, but it's quite similar bike parky to kind of Leo Gang. But you've done really well there. Is there something about Lenzerheide, or?
So Lenzerheide is a tricky one. The first year we ever been here, it was supposed to be a brand new track. It was supposed to be insane. And we came in like every corner. They had no support. Everything was dead. Like it was a 4 years old track, not being reshaped. And I was like, no, that's not good. And so the flow is actually not there. Like the first split, there's no flow. It's like tight, awkward. It's hard to get like a good rhythm, and it's a tough one because you have to pedal at one point and then you get tired, and I don't know. There's something about Lenzerheide that I'm not super happy about. And Worlds, I don't know when was that. I end up like fourth again with maybe 0.5 back with a mistake. And I was like, nah. My friends were there. They're like, come on, what did you do that mistake? And yeah, I'm not sure about Lenzerheide. Like, it's just the support in those corners that I don't feel it's fun to ride. So I'm not super keen on it, but we're going to have a go this year and try to feel good and confident. So we'll see.
Excellent. And are you excited for Snowshoe and the double header?
No. Then Snowshoe is a difficult one. Like, you have so many change of rhythm. Like, you start super pinned, then it's kind of flat, and then it's rocky, and then you pedal, and it's like shiny. And I feel like a double header here, there, like, would be not so good, really. Like, I have to be honest. But happy to go back to another country, really. Like, it was a long time ago that we didn't fly to somewhere. And yeah, looking forward to obviously have a race. But yeah, Snowshoe and Lenzerheide are not my favorite kind of tracks, but whatever, we give it a go and have fun.
Cool. Well, I think you'll do pretty well. Once you get racing, it'll all disappear. Look, thanks very much for taking the time to come on the podcast, Loris. And you say this, you try to avoid doing them. I think you've been excellent today. Great value, really, really, really interesting insight. So thank you very much for making the time, and best of luck for this weekend and for the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you. I like to talk, so I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but yeah, thank you for having me, and yeah, looking forward.
No, really good. One of my favorite interviews, and thanks for your honesty as well. There's some difficult things for you to talk about there, so nice one. That was mint.
Cool. Jack, can anyone else win it, or is it Thibaut's title now?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, like as Loris said, he's just got to lose one round, and there's 3 left. We're only midway through the season, so anything can happen in our sport, and it's all up for grabs. So yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to see a Commencal take the overall, obviously, for us. So let's hope everything plays the game and he just keeps it tidy and keeps himself in that top 5. And it'd be nice to see him win the overall. But yeah, it's definitely still all up for grabs, in my opinion.
Do you think he can do that? Do you think riders can just say, I'm going to do a top 5, top 10 run?
Yeah, you can, because like they know that speed so well. And then you've got time, practice, and quali. I think, is it Gwynny who said it to us, that like it's almost like not a nice position to be in when you're just racing just for the overall, because you'll end up just taking 5-10% back, and you can do that all day. Like, you can do that over and over and over again. So yeah, for sure he'll be able to do it that way. But I think if he saws it up at the first round in Snowshoe, he'll push for the win in the second round, because as Glenn said, nobody likes racing just to be safe. We like racing because we like racing. So yeah.
We discussed his fantastic record in Lenzerheide in last week's show. You wouldn't bet against me now this weekend, now, would you?
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, he's riding so well. Like, as I've said, everything we've seen of him trackside and videos, like, he just looks so composed. And yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't bet against him this weekend for sure. Let's just see if he's refocused in time.
And Valley, 2019 Lenzerheide, that was the race when she, as a junior, did the fastest time.
Yeah.
I'm going to nail my colours to the mast. I think she's going to win this weekend.
Well, that's got to give us some confidence, hasn't it? And the speed is there. Everybody knows that. She knows that. She's just got a kind of... I almost wonder if, like, because of the bad luck, like, if in Maribor she kind of didn't push as hard as she obviously could have done, because she's so sick of crashing, and then she's crashed last week, and like, it must be a difficult position for her to be in. Like, she probably feels like she's just flogging a dead horse. Like, if she doesn't push, she doesn't win, and if she pushes, she crashes. And yeah, I reckon she just needs one good one under her belt, and then she'll be away.
She's probably learning so much, though. when she won every weekend pretty much in junior, there's not a lot of, you don't learn as many lessons when you win in, do you?
No, and that's the thing. Our sport is so mental. So, like as we've said, she's clearly a great rider, but now, as you've just said, she is going to be learning all those mental challenges that are going to be there for her now, week in, week out. Of, I can give you a prime example of like I've walked the track today with Dan, and I'm walking it looking for the lines that I'll hopefully be able to ride in the morning. I've got no idea if I'll be able to because of my hand, and then I'm walking it, looking at lines for Dan, saying, right, you need to be here, mate.
Yeah.
Ignore what I'm saying for me. Like that's, and then I've come back, had some physio and kind of got the green light. I was a little bit worried that he was going to get hold of it and be like, no, if you ride, you're going to make this worse. Whereas it's kind of the opposite. We're hoping nothing's broken. And it just, it's had some treatment. It's responded well to it. So now I'm sitting here going, fuck. After walking the track, I'm going to have to go up there and ride. And you've got to get your head in that space. And it is a difficult thing to do. And yeah, as a rider, there's a different challenge at every event. And everyone will have different ones and they change throughout the season. So yeah, as you've just said, to summarize, as a junior, it was pretty easy for her, mate. She won all the time. Whereas now she's going to be in the mix with all these women and there's going to be a new challenge for her every time.
And for you, is there a bit less pressure now you've got Dan on the team?
No, because as everybody says, there's never any more pressure than what you put on yourself. So not really. I mean, it is nice for the team, but I compartmentalize. So my racing that's my racing. I'm an athlete and what I do is that. The team and my role as team manager and team owner is completely separate. So yeah, for that part, it's awesome that Dan's doing well and it's great and it's mint for the team. But that's a completely separate thing to what I want to achieve as an athlete. So no, personally, I'm in a massively frustrating time at the moment. Kind of coming out of my shoulder injury now. Physios are happy with that. It is going to take a full winter to get me back to full strength, but on the bike, it's not bothering me. I've had a few crashes on it and it's not even,
yeah,
bothered by a fall, so that's good. But then this hand triggers off and it's like, oh my God, for fuck's sake, just leave me alone. So yeah, my kind of plan this weekend is to just get through it. And if I start riding and I feel it's going to make it worse going out this weekend, I won't carry on. I'll wait for snowshoe because that's kind of 33% of the season. But whatever I do, we'll still be obviously like making sure we give Dan the best support we can and helping him carry on with the good form he's got. So,
and who's mechanicking for you this weekend? Are you doing your own?
Yeah, unfortunately we are. Shout out to Ellie. He's worked so hard in Maribor for us, but Switzerland have a rule that if you're coming straight from the UK, which we did, you're not allowed in the country if you're not double jabbed. So whether I could have brought him over, spent a day in France, got him a PCR test, and then driven him across the border from France with a French PCR test, honestly, I don't even know what the response would have been at the border. And we just didn't want to chance it. It turned out typical. We got to the Swiss border and they said hello and sold us a road toll and waved us in. They didn't look at our passports or our COVID tests. So yeah, a little bit frustrating that kind of we had to leave him. And then when it came to the part where we were worried, there was typical. It's all scaremongering. Nothing actually happened. But I mean, it's one event. The bikes are prepped before we left. We've got spares. We're both good mechanics. So we've got SL Suntour here with various people who can help us. So,
cool.
we've got everything we need. It would be nice to have Elle with us, but we'll be fine.
And as you mentioned, track walk today, how's it looking?
Yeah, I mean, they've done what they can with it. It's kind of a track where you go bike park bit and then they'll put a little bit of tech in the woods and then you're back into a bike park bit. And then, so it's, as Loris said, it is quite difficult, I guess, to feel a consistent flow down the whole track. Maribor's the same kind of track the whole way down and Val di Sol's the same kind of track the whole way down, whereas this isn't. So, one reason I really do want to be on the bike and feeling good is so I can help Dan. Like I've raced here many times before, I've had my best result here. So it would be nice to to ride and obviously be able to help him. There's quite a few line choices this year. They've tipped it really wide. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's always kind of a good one to be at. The chairlift goes right up the track, so we can watch when we're on the lift. So that's good. The crowd's usually pretty good. So
cool. And how's Dan? Is he still buzzing?
I mean, as his coach, I encouraged him to kind of forget about the success. Forget's the wrong word. Refocus after the success in Maribor. 2 days after we got home, I said, "Go home and enjoy it with your parents for an evening, and have a celebration with your friends. But you need to snap out of it straight away. We've got Lenzerheide in 10 days, and He, as much as anyone, he doesn't want it to be a flash in the pan. So he refocused over a week ago, and he's been training like hell, in the gym and on his gravel bike and on his trail bike and a little bit of downhill. He's riding just effortlessly and fast, and just riding like like I've tried to encourage him since the problems he's had earlier in the year of just go out and ride. So that's the plan tomorrow. He's walked the track. He knows what lines he wants to do, and he's going to go out and have fun and get into it. And what more can you do?
Cool. Well, best of luck to you both. We'll catch up at some point before Snowshoe. That's all we've got time for in this episode. Thanks to the sponsors of the show: Hope Technology, J-Tech Suspension, Revolution Bike Park, Ride Southern Spain, Schwalbe and SingleTrackWorld.com. If you're enjoying the podcast, please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you've got a sec, please drop us a review. Alternatively, please give us a follow on Instagram at Making Up the Numbers Racing or Facebook.com/makingupthenumbers. Thanks very much for listening. We'll be back soon.